If these plane landings were not filmed, no one would believe it. Airplane safety has improved dramatically in recent years, making it one of the safest ways to travel. But it'll never be 100% safe, as human beings aren't really supposed to be flying around in metal tubes at hundreds of miles an hour, thousands of feet in the air. It's still kind of insane. But even if something goes wrong, an awesome pilot can save the day. From the plane that almost lost it in high winds to the beachgoers who had a surprise arrival, here's the 20 most dangerous plane landings in the world. One Friday lunchtime in June 2021, officers of the Florida Highway Patrol and the Broward Sheriff's Fire Rescue rushed to the area of Interstate 75 near mile marker 37 following reports of a downed plane. The pilot was able to steer the plane into a grassy meadow and avoid traffic coming from both directions. Amazingly, he and the others narrowly avoided disaster. After that, the plane was left wrestling between the eastbound and westbound lanes of the interstate, which was pretty strange for everyone in the area to see. Officials from Fire and Rescue said there were 2 people on board the Cessna 172 and that neither of them were hurt when it landed. Check out this incredible footage of dramatic landing on a beach by this propeller-driven aircraft. The beachgoers are totally shocked when it touches down. In the water, that pilot must have been sweating as he brought it down, but he managed to pick a spot without anyone bathing in the water. This took place at the afternoon air show at Cocoa Beach, Florida. The plane, a TMM Avenger from World War II, was on its way to a runway, but a mechanical problem caused it to crash in the water and land on a busy beach where surfers and bathers were. In high winds back in February of 2022, a British Airways jet had to give up on trying to land at Heathrow Airport because of storm quarries. Ultra-strong winds. Plane spotters caught this crazy video of the jet, which had flown from Aberdeen, swaying heavily to the left as it got close to the runway. Pretty scary. The plane was leaning hard to one side and its tail looked like it was touching the ground. This made a cloud of what pilots call plane dust. That's not a dust you ever want to see, but the pilot was able to keep the jet steady and pull up. He then took off for another landing attempt, which was successful. In August 2021, a small plane had to make an emergency landing at a field in Ontario. The Cessna single-engine plane crashed somewhere between Ontario Ranch Road and Broadway Avenue before 10 a.m. Ontario police said the pilot was conscious and treated at the scene. Nobody was hurt and no buildings were damaged. What a lucky guy. This could have turned out way worse. Aviation officials started looking into what caused the plane to crash, but it's not known if anyone else other than the pilot was on board. The Ontario Fire Department took care of the situation pretty quickly. Have you ever seen something similar to this? It's not a normal way to land your plane, I know. That's for sure. It kind of reminds me of what happens when I try to fly a plane in GTA 5. Now we're taking a look at a small plane that had to land quickly on interstate in Minnesota because of a problem in the city of Minneapolis in 2020. The single-engine plane was forced to make an emergency landing on this stretch of highway. Since then, a video of the event's been widely shared on social media. Can you imagine if you were driving the car and in front of you you saw that thing in your rearview mirror? The Belanca Viking plane crashed into an SUV after landing on the highway. Everyone in this incident was pretty lucky given that no one was hurt. It's going to get bumpy for this Korean 777. This must have left a few bruises on the poor passengers. Ouch! The Korean Air Ike 703 heading from Seoul to Tokyo suffered serious damage to the rear wheel axle of the right-hand main landing gear as it came back to land in 2018. The plane, which had 318 passengers and 16 crew, landed with a big bump on Merida's Airway. It then slowed down and left the runway as the plane was taxiing towards the terminal. The right rear main gear axle broke, leaving the plane unable to move. The airline said the plane landed normally and was making its way to the terminal, that a landing gear broke, forcing the plane to come to a stop. About 90 minutes later, the passengers finally got off the plane. The runway had to be closed for about 20 minutes while the scattered plane parts were cleaned up. One of the scariest things that could happen when you're flying is you almost hit something else in the air, especially when it's another plane. The worst air disasters happen when two planes crash into each other, so when one gets too close for comfort, it's unsettling to say the least. This video was shot at Barcelona Airport. It's what looks like a close call between two planes. Spanish aviation officials decided to look into what happened after they saw a clip in the video when Airbus A340 from Aerolíneas Argentinas drove across the path of a Boeing 767 from the Russian airline UT Air that's getting ready to land. No one was hurt, and the UT airplane was able to turn around and land 5 minutes later without any problems. Speaking of hard landings, check this one out. Everyone looks pretty chill until the last moment when the plane just starts rocking left and right like crazy. That was a gnarly way to land. Ethiopian Airlines now flies more than 92 international destinations on 5 continents. It's growing its network for both people and things very quickly. It also looks for other types of investments to grow its international presence. And it looks like Ethiopia is about to become one of Africa's boom economies thanks to their huge aviation investment in recent years. I guess they'll be fine as long as they can land their planes a little more smoothly than this one did. Shortly after takeoff, the pilot of the Aerosecure plane noticed that the side door had been open. The plane was carrying goods from Mitu to the capital city of Bogota. He had to quickly turn around and land at Fabio Alberto Leon Bentley Airport with the door wide open, the same runway that it just took off from. The video shows the plane coming in for a landing, and there were no reports of injuries or deaths. Officials are now trying to figure out what went wrong here. The plane is said to have been in use for 40 years, 12 of which as a freighter. That can't be good. I'm no expert on aviation safety, but I reckon having all the doors closed is pretty much top priority while the plane is in the air. On August 11, 2018, a Saturday night, after the pilot reported a rough-running engine, the scary event was caught on video by the dash camera of a car driven by a family on a freeway. Eric and Brandy Greer's voices on the video show their shock and fear as they watch the single-engine Cessna land right in front of them on westbound 580 in San Leandro. The Greer said it looked like the pilot waited for a break in traffic and then put it down near 164th Street. The pilot and his passenger were both fine. There was a lot of traffic on Saturday night. It's crazy that the plane didn't hit any cars. Those were all the videos on our list. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave us a fat thumbs up. As always, take care and goodbye.